Yeah, all of the things that we've been told, like, be fearful there's going to be an alien invasion and blah, blah, blah. Y'all do realize that we coexist with them as it is. We coexist with interdimensional beings now, like right now. I mean, this has been going on forever. And so when I say, people are throwing out all that fear-based stuff, be fearful of an invasion, I can guarantee it's not going to happen the way we've been taught. You can hold me accountable for that statement too. It's not going to happen that way. It is absolutely not. We don't have anything to fear. We have moved off of the fear-based timeline. We moved off of that timeline that we were on that was just chaos. And what's happening right now, because the world does look like it's in chaos, is we are cleansing. We're in a major cleansing period. Good things are coming. I know that. I know it with every ounce of my being. Even people are going through a cleansing period. So if you find yourself feeling overly emotional or things coming up, or you just feel like crying and you don't know why, just cry. Just let it out. I mean, it's just you're healing stuff you probably don't even remember you need to heal. And all of this, everything's going to come together. It can be a challenging time when you're so we've changed timelines, and it can be challenging for some because that whole collective consciousness, the way it was programmed before, is no longer there. It has been wiped clean. It's like we're in a new simulation is the easiest way to explain that. And so it's confusing for people who are so used to, it's confusing for people who still have memory of their beliefs, but those beliefs aren't instilled in us the same way. They're not rooted up in our chakras. We're just going through a transition right now. The people who are still caught up, I guess, I want to stereotype for a minute. The sheep of the world, the ones that are followers, the ones that are judging and throwing Bible verses and, and then causing harm and then telling you shouldn't cause harm. All of that lower frequency, sucking the life out of you energy. What I find is most people who, let me say it in a nicer way. That sounded really rude, but y'all get what I'm saying. The ones that you say, can you please wake up? You're not awake yet. Those. What I find are that those are people who have really strong beliefs and attachments with something, whether it be religion or beliefs about, that they were in an abusive childhood and their parents threaten the shit out of them if they didn't do this or that. But it's people who have really strong beliefs and connections to those beliefs. And, whenever I said that, it sounded rude. I don't mean to come across as rude because I don't have a reason to judge anyone. I try. I really do just try and walk this world as an observer. And I absolutely do observe people that are just kind of walking with their head down, and it seems like maybe they don't quite get it, but I want everybody to hear this. On a human level, you can think they don't get it, but remember, there's a soul inside of everyone. I stand corrected. There's not a soul inside of everyone, but a lot of people, most people that are here for the reason of evolving and learning and growing. There's a soul inside, and that soul knows everything. That soul knows why we're here. The soul has all memory of what the conditions are, what past lives have been, what your goal is. We're all trying to, learn. We all have the same end goal of learning certain things, but we're at different levels of that growth. But the soul understands all of that. So even though there are people that you feel like are just not awake yet, and it gets aggravating, it's easier just to have compassion for them and say, well, maybe they're not as old of a soul. They're just a younger soul. They have some more growth to do. And hating on them actually isn't going to get us anywhere. It's not. I mean, I like to joke and play and make fun, but when it comes down to it, I do not want to cause harm in the world. I want to have compassion for people and accept people how they show up and just do what I came here to do, which is love and help others heal. And do you know that everybody's purpose is the same? I think I've said this before. I say it all the time, but I think I've said it on a recording. But everybody's purpose ultimately is the same, to help your fellow man. That's it. When you're doing that, you feel great. It fixes everything. It makes you feel good. It raises your frequency. It makes you feel productive. It heals things. I mean, it's like the answer to everything. That's why I always tell people, if you feel like you can't raise your frequency, go do a good deed for somebody and do it. It doesn't have to cost you anything. Just, it has to be genuine. And people feel genuineness. You know, we can tell when someone's heart's open, and we can tell when they are sketchy. And just is what it is, right? So all of that talk about UFOs and aliens and all of that stuff, it's just information. That's it. I only want to give it as information because it's my life. You know, for someone that says, oh, that's crazy. Well, you know, I'm not judging you for your weird ways and weird stuff. This is my life, and there's nothing crazy about it. I'm a sane person, a good person. I don't do harm in the world. You know, nothing crazy about me. I wish there was something crazy about me, because I've been watching too much TikTok. You know how people have their crazy throwdowns up in the fast food restaurants. Those are so funny to watch. But no, I won't do that. I just went off on a tangent with that. But I want to say something else too. And I'll explain some of the things I've been taught. Let me try and go over those quickly. What I've been taught, for example, why we're here. We come here to learn. We come here to grow. We come here to learn compassion and humility and forgiveness. And before we're born, we choose certain things. We don't choose everything because we have free will, but we choose certain things like our entrance point, which is birth. We have several exit points for death, mainly because of free will, suicides, murders, overdoses, things that could be avoided. And we choose our soul contracts, which are our parents and kids and siblings and all. And, of course, what we do with those relationships is up to us. It is important to remember that every single one of us is like planning a movie. This is literally how it is. You're planning this movie. You're picking out all of the people that you want to play this certain roles, like your parents and kids and siblings, and you're picking out the role players. You're choosing them ahead of time, and you're doing that based on what your needs are for growth. So you're going to be pretty particular about how you choose your soul contracts, and you have to choose the villains and the allies, and just like a movie, to have a good plot, you have to have all the good guys and the bad guys, right? Now, the ones that tend to play the villains are usually your strongest allies on the other side, meaning heaven, the astral plane, when you're not on Earth. The ones that you love the most off planet are the ones that you're probably going to choose to play the villain. And why is that? Well, I always say this. Love matches the level of love matches the level of pain, meaning that if you truly deeply love someone and they do something that's painful, it's going to really hurt. Whereas if you really didn't care that much about them, it's not going to really impact your life. So you need your villains to be strong allies. And I see this all the time with people. The people that are wreaking the most havoc in your life, I'm telling you, when you physically die, they physically die, you cross over, you're going to high five and go, dang, we did it. So everything is like a movie. It's like you're just playing different roles. The thing that's so crazy is when we're planning the process of it before we get it, we're all excited, like, you know, we get to come back to Earth and it's going to be really cool and you're going to play this role and look at all the things we get to do, and we're so excited about it. Then we get here, we forget where we came from. We're like, oh, this place sucks. And we actually think that the script is real. We really think when someone does something and playing the villain role, we think it's real. Like we take it personally. We really get hurt by this stuff. But in reality, none of it's real. All of it's just illusion. It's like a movie just for your growth. Like, the fact that we choose trauma school to help us grow is so funny to me. So I'm like, why can't we do it in an easier way? Well, because we can't. Because when we're in heaven and we're in a healed state, we're in a high frequency. There's not a lot of growth going on. When we're knocked down, like when somebody loses a child, have the rug ripped out from underneath them. Now they're desperate. Now they're raw. They don't have a manual. Nobody's telling them how to navigate that path. And they just went from one life to now I'm trying to navigate this and I can't even get out of bed. And I don't know how to do it. That's where your growth comes in. You know, I always say one of the things that we learn here is forgiveness. Well, how are we going to learn it unless we're put in the position to forgive or not forgive? It's a choice. So we have to have the villains. I always remind myself when things get rough, when they get heavy, uncomfortable, and if you look at it from the human perspective, it's going to feel like shit. It's going to look like this one's doing this and they're hurting you. But jump out of that circle, back up, look at it from the higher perspective, which is the soul's perspective, and say, why is this really happening? Like, this is just a growth opportunity. I need to get it. When you learn the growth, when you get the growth opportunity, you run with it, you learn it, you don't keep repeating it. Patterns will continue until you get it. Now, nobody's doing that to you. Your spirit guides, like, you don't have any angels out to get you. You, like we, create our own blueprint. We're the ones that set it up. We're the ones that want these experiences. We're the ones that want to learn all this stuff. We just ask our guides, hey, can you step in and help when we need you? And they're like, yeah, we got you. But we tend to think that the world's happening to us. When in reality, nothing about this world is happening to us without happening for us. Nothing. Every single thing here has a timeline, has a possibility or a probability that's based on free will. We have free will. That's a free will earth. But we also, we really do have a blueprint that is our default. It's the baseline. It's what's created to help us get through life when we don't know what the hell we're doing. We have to have that. We have to have some kind of guideline, and that is what it is. That's what the blueprint is to help get us to where we need to be. When you run into resistance, say, thank you, not crap, why am I running into resistance? Resistance is an awesome tool to help you know when to change how you're doing things or change directions. Gosh, we're so programmed here to think in a fear-based way that everything's happening to us. Your appointment got canceled. Oh, crap. Like, that's a sign that I shouldn't be going. Well, maybe it's a sign that you should trust timing. See what I'm saying? That feels better than the constant resistance you're now creating for yourself. That's why I always say I don't care about traffic. I love traffic because I love music and I love to listen to it loud. And I have my midlife crisis car, which is a Camaro, and I could sit in traffic all day if I have music. I don't care where I am. I don't have a complaint in the world about that. Change your perspective. You know, your thoughts create your reality. Quit looking at everything as it's bad and there's a bad reason why it's happening. Nothing, y'all. Nothing is happening that's bad for us. Nothing, unless you're making poor choices. But you know what I mean, like on the blueprint. I'll expand on that later.